Hi, this is Donna. Welcome to DD Paper Crafts. In today's video, we're going to be making this bread bin style roll top box. This was inspired by some photographs that I saw on Pinterest. There's lots of images of these types of boxes around. The front lid pivots on a small brad here, so you will need some brads in your stash. Once you get the idea of the concept of how this side system here works, you can make this any size you choose. So let me show you how I put this project together. The size of my finished box is 8 inches across by 6 1/4 inches deep, and it's 5 inches high. It will use approximately 5 sheets of A4 cardstock to create the box the same size as mine. We're going to start by cutting the base, which is 8 inches by 6 1/4 inches, and each of the side, the front and the back elements are going to be adhered to the base with the tabs underneath. You may decide, depending on what you're going to put in, that you then want to add an additional base piece, and your tabs will then be enclosed. That's entirely dependent on how much weight you intend putting into the box itself. So we start with the base. There's nothing else we need to do with the base, so we can put that to one side. Our front section is 9 inches by 2.5 inches. Along the 9-inch side, we want to score at 1/2 inch and 8.5 inches, and along the 2-inch side, we're going to score at 1/2 inch. Fold and burnish your score lines. Then we're going to take our scissors with our 1/2 inch tab facing us. We're going to cut away the 2 outer squares. We're going to leave the top edge straight, but we're going to cut a slight wedge out of each of the ends of the tabs. So this is our front section. Take our base, and I'm going to apply glue to the inside of the tab and just line up my base. So I'm going to set that aside to dry. For the back panel, you'll need a piece which measures 8 inches by 6 inches. And along the 6-inch along the 6-inch side, we're going to score at 1/2 inch and 5.5 inches. Fold and burnish along the score lines. Then we're just going to cut a wedge away from each of the ends to create our glue tabs. Then we can bring our base and our front section back into play. Add glue to the underside of one of the tabs and adhere it to our base. And again, set that aside to dry. For the top of the box, the piece is 9 inches by 3 1/4 inches, and along the 9-inch side, we're going to score at 1/2 inch and 8.5 inches. Fold and burnish the score lines. Again, we're just going to cut a wedge from the ends of the tabbed sections, and then we're just going to put that to one side for the moment. For the sides of the box, you need 2 pieces of cardstock, which are 6 3/4 by 5.5. And we're going to create a left and a right end side for the box. I'm going to use single-sided cardstock just to demonstrate how you would cut your left and your right differently if you were using this type of cardstock, or indeed cardstock that you didn't want to get pencil marks on the front. If you're using cardstock which is the same both sides, you can repeat one process for both pieces of cardstock. So I have my piece which is single-sided. I'm going to lay it face down. So I'm going to work on the back. So on the first piece of card, along the 5.5 inch side, I'm going to score at 1/2 inch. And along the 6 3/4 inch side, I'm going to score at 1/2 inch. So this is effectively how the card is going to stand. This 1/2 inch score line here represents the tab which is going to adhere the side to our back panel. We're keeping our piece in the scoreboard with the 1/2 inch tab on the left and on the bottom still face down. A pencil mark at 2.5 inches. Rotate and make a pencil mark at 3 inches. We want to draw a line down from the 2.5 inch mark and a line across from the 3 inch mark. Now cut this section away. You will cut yours more carefully. This isn't actually the cardstock I'm using, this is for demonstration purposes only, and this is going to represent the left hand side of our box. So again, if you've got normal cardstock which is double-sided, you can follow that process twice. If you've got single-sided, we're now going to create the right hand side of the box. So again, we're placing it face down. Along the 6 3/4 inch side, we're going to score at 1/2 inch. Rotate. We've now got our 1/2 inch tab at the top. Score at 1/2 inch. Rotate the cardstock back, keeping the 1/2 inch tab on the left. Make a pencil line at 3 3/4 inches. Rotate the cardstock, and with the along the 5.5 inch side with the 1/2 inch tab, make a pencil line at 3 inches. Make our pencil line down from the top, and then our pencil line across from the right hand side out along the 2 pencil lines. You'll see that we've got 2 pieces which are a mirror image of each other, and they are going to stand at the sides like so. Apologise if I've overcomplicated that for you because you're using normal double-sided cardstock, but not everyone may be, and I wanted to make it clear that you needed to make 2 ends and end up with your coloured paper on the outside. Once you've cut your 2 pieces, just lay them up against each other and just make sure that they are pretty much equal with one another. We're now going to put these aside for the moment because we want to make sure that we get the roller system or the curve system here moving correctly and sitting correctly before we put the box together. For the roller lid, you need 2 pieces of cardstock which are 3 1/4 inches square. In my 2 pieces face down if you're using single-sided, and on this left hand side I'm going to measure along 1/4 inch and just make a pencil mark. Do the same at the bottom, make a pencil mark at 1/4 inch, join up that line, rotate so the pencil line is at the top, and do the same on this left hand side. and this is just going to help us with the placement of our curved lid and the placement of our brad. Same on this one. Okay, so we have our two pieces like so. For the next stage, you need to find something circular which is the right size. If you have circle dies, fantastic. If not, you may just have to work your way around the house until you find something which is the correct size. What we're going to do now is create the curve in the side of our roller lid. So you need to find a circle which is big enough so that you can line the edges of the circle, and it's roughly a quarter of the circle, and the curve of your circle is meeting the edge of the cardstock piece. You can see that if I draw around the outside of the circle, that's given me a nice curve running from the outside edge here to the outside edge here. So it may be that you have circle dies, it might be, this might be the size of a side plate. You may be skilled enough to be able to use a pencil and compass. If you're making yours exactly the same as mine and you have circle dies, the distance from the cut edge outer, it's 5 7/8 across. So if you can find something which is roughly that diameter, that will help you create your curves. So cut one and then use it as a template, or cut them both individually. So this is going to be my right hand end and this is going to be my left hand end. It's projects like these which make me realise how difficult it is to explain to people how to do things. So if I'm confusing you, I apologise, but you will see that I've effectively got a left and a right hand side. So now carefully I'm going to cut around the arch, and as I often say on these videos, this is a handmade project. This is not cut on a Cricut or a scan and cut or an electronic cutting machine. So all you can do is do your best. And I'm just going to lay them on top of each other just to make sure that they're as near as I can get them. They're not perfectly curved, but no one's going to notice by the time it's decorated. Okay, so they're the sides of our roller. So the next portion of the process does require a level of care. So this is my left hand side of the box and this is the left hand side of my roller. And what's going to happen is the roller side will fit under the box like so, and we're going to create with a brad a pivot point through which the lid can roll back like so. Now I'm going to take my roller edge and using my pokey tool, I'm just going to make a hole just on the inside of where the two pencil marks intersect, and I'm just making the hole big enough for that my brad legs will fit through it. Don't want to go beyond the intersection into this part. I want to stay within this part. This is the front of my piece. I'm going to lay my roller edge on top, and I'm just making sure that the 1/4 inch pencil lines in the top and the side are just about a 1/16 of an inch away from the top edge and the front edge. I'm happy with that. Now if I use my pokey tool, place it in the hole that I've made and just rotate the piece back, I can see at no point is the edge of my roller edge interfering with the top of my box, like so. One thing I would say is if it's your intention to decorate the front of the roller, you need to bear this in mind, because if you're going to start adding another layer of paper and you're too close to this top edge, you may find that you get impeded. So just bear that in mind. So I'm quite happy with how that is. I'm going to just place that back like so. I'm going to take my pencil, make my pencil mark, then I'm going to make my hole with my pokey tool like so, and don't make the hole any bigger than you need it to be. So there we have, I can enlarge that as I need to. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay my pieces on top of one another, and using the one which I know now to be correct, because I know my two sides are the same and I know my roller pieces are the same, I'm going to use my pencil to indicate where the hole needs to be, and you can already see I've put a hole in this one and it was in the wrong place, so I'm now going to put it where it should be, where the pencil mark is. And I'm going to make the hole for my brad. I'm going to take my side piece, lay the two on top of each other, line up the corners, line up this piece here, make my pencil mark through the hole that I've just made, and make my hole with my pokey tool. So we can just double check with one. I'm going to take a brad. This isn't necessarily the brad that I'm going to use, but place my brad through the hole on the outside just to test. Line these up. I'm not going to split the brad because I'm going to take it out, but you can see that this turns at the top and there's just enough room for it to turn round without it getting impeded. And in fact the top can go, we're going to add a little stopper to go in it for it to stop it going back too far. So just take your time with this portion of it, because remember we're working with cardstock and it will only take so much, so many holes, etc. Just test both pieces before we get too far down the road. So the final piece which we're going to cut is going to be the strip which is going to join the two roller lids together. The roller lid is going to be 9 inches long, which is going to be scored at 1/2 inch and 8.5 inches. And for the width of the piece, mine is 5.25 inches. To calculate the width that I needed, I laid one edge up against the edge of my curve, curved the paper round so it remained butted up to the edge, and then I made a small mark. So that went round there like so, and then I just made a mark with a pencil and then took that away, and the pencil mark determined that I needed 5.25 inches. So if you're creating your box a different size and therefore your circles are going to be a different size, that's a way of calculating the width of the strip that you're going to need to run across between the two ends. We can start putting the rest of our box together. So whilst we've got the roller lid pieces, let's carry on with that. Fold and burnish along the score lines. Cut a series of teeth into the 1/2 inch tab, which is going to allow us to manipulate it and adhere it to the curve. If it's your intention to do any heat embossing decoration to the lid or whatever you're going to do, if anything, then I would do it now before you add it to the sides. Remember to remove any of your pencil marks on your inside piece before you start adhering. I am going to add my quick grab glue, so I'm just going to apply my glue, my edge, and line up the score line on the lid section to the edge of the curve section. Okay, so do that on both sides. So the two ends are now stuck on. I'm going to set that aside to dry. Whilst the roller lid element is drying, we'll come back to our two side pieces, fold along the score lines and burnish. And on each piece, we're going to cut a small wedge at the end of the 1/2 inch tab, like so. Cut away this corner section, like so, and then cut a wedge to create our glue tabs. Do that on both pieces. Take our box base, and now what we're going to do is we're going to add glue to the under section of our side. Adhere that into place. Add glue to our tab of our front panel. Pull the front panel up and adhere that into place like so. Oh, sunshine. Haven't seen that for a few days. And then repeat with the flap at the back. Just make sure everything stays nice and square. Add glue to this panel, pull that up, let that sit nice and square. So you want to follow the same process on both sides. Once the sides have been stuck on, we're going to add the top by adding glue to the top tabs and the two side tabs, and that's going to be adhered on the top like so. So I'm going to start with this back tab. So I'm just going to make sure I get that lined up. Get this lined up at the end, nice and square. I would suggest waiting until the box is completely dry before you add your roller mechanism. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take our brads of your chosen colour. These aren't my brads of choice yet, just for demonstration purposes. Place your roller lid inside the box. I'm going to flip the box over. I'm going to go through the brad hole on this side, and then I'm going to find the hole on the roller lid. Open my brad, which I can cut the legs off if necessary. So my brad is through the lid and the roller lid. Do the same on this side. Hold the lid up to the top and slot it under. Slot the roller lid under your top lid and roll the lid back. So here's our box lid now in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and decorate the rest of the box, and then I'll come back. Here's the finished decorated box. You can see I've added the DSP around all of the outside edges. The decorative paper I've used is Stamperia. I've used it from the background selection, and this is the Vintage Library. And I've also added a handle to the front, which is just a strip of black paper which I've adhered with two brads, and that enables you to open and close the box. I've decorated some elements of the inside, and I like this so much I've decided to keep it for myself, and I'm actually going to use it to put things like my journal and my journal stickers, that sort of thing in it. I think for a gift box it's quite substantial inside. You could get a lot in there. All I would say is just bear in mind the cardstock that you've used as your base, and therefore the weight. but you could, as I said earlier, put an extra base on the bottom to add some more strength. So there we have today's video. I hope you've enjoyed this project. If you haven't done already, please consider subscribing to the channel and hit the notification bell for future videos. Until next time, thanks for watching.